Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. So, as you guys know, we've been sharing a lot of information about different true crime stories and trying to bring a lot of awareness to some of these accounts. So, I want to talk to you about the latest John Wayne Gacy victim. Now, as y'all know, I live in North Carolina, if you couldn't tell by my accent already. Everybody on TikTok gives me hell about my country accent. So, new John Wayne Gacy victim identified as North Carolina man. Relatives say our hearts are so heavy. Francis Wayne Alexander, located December 1978, identified October 21. Now, guys, let me tell you, they are still accepting DNA from people who, have a family member that disappeared in the 70s. They said that if you believe that you have a distant family member, a close family member, especially males that may have went missing in or around the Chicago area during the 70s, please offer up DNA samples so they can see who these remaining victims are, because they still have over half a dozen victims who have not been identified that were located on John Wayne Gacy's property. So let's get to it. The family knew him as Wayne, and last they saw him, he was a young man in the mid-1970s with his hair slicked back and grinning beneath a wide mustache. 4 days ago, the North Carolina family learned that Francis Wayne Alexander died 45 years ago in one of the country's most infamous string of murders, one of 6 bodies still unidentified in the crawl space under John Wayne Gacy's home in suburban Chicago. Cook County Sheriff Thomas J. Dart announced Alexander's newly revealed identity Monday after extensive DNA research that began with a tooth. Though he did not identify Alexander's hometown in his Monday news conference, he thanked Harnett County's Irwin Police Department for its cooperation. So sad. It is hard, even 45 years later, to know the fate of our beloved Wayne, said his sister, Caroline Sanders, in a statement released by Dart's office. He was killed at the hands of a vile, evil man. Our hearts are heavy, and our sympathies go out to the other victims' families. Our only comfort is knowing this killer no longer breathes the same air we do. Oh, this poor family. I just can't imagine. And especially knowing what Gacy did to his victims, the torture, the abuse, the R word. He did very vile things to victims before taking their lives. Now, who was Francis Wayne Alexander? Alexander would have been 21 or 22 at the time of his death. Oh my gosh, so young. Cumberland County. Now, Cumberland County is not far from my hometown. It is literally about 20, 30 minutes away, full of some amazing people too. Very country, down-to-earth, humble people. Cumberland County birth records show Francis Wayne Alexander born in Manchester Township on March 11th, 1955. A man who appears to have been his father, Edwin Hollister Alexander, was a Korean and Vietnam War veteran who won the Silver Star according to birth and burial records. He had relocated to New York, Dart said in a news release, then to Chicago after getting married in 1975 and divorced 3 months later. The Francis Wayne Alexander born in Cumberland County was also married in New York in 1975. His family did not alert authorities when they lost contact with him. They just loved him. Hold on, guys. Let's see what this customer wants. I'm so sorry for the pause, guys. I had to deal with a customer. Okay. Now, they just loved him, but they thought that he wanted nothing more to do with them. So that's why there was never a missing persons report, Dart said at the Chicago News Conference Monday, according to the Associated Press. Gacy killed 3 teenage boys and young men around Chicago between 1972 and 1978. He was a successful building contractor and was well known as a performing clown at children's charities and hospitals, often by his own description of his crimes, luring victims to his home and tricking them into handcuffs as part of a magic trick. Many of Gacy's known victims were young men who worked for him in his construction and painting business. As part of his confession to investigators in 1978, Gacy drew a diagram of where he had buried the bodies in the crawl space. Over a week's time, investigators uncovered 26 of them. Guys, 26 bodies. Now, just think about that for a minute. Let that soak in. 26 victims, bodies, people who trusted him, people who, some of these boys didn't have anywhere else to go. Some were runaways, some were down on their luck, didn't have a job, were trying to start their lives over. Some had, girlfriends, families. Some had parents that were waiting on them, and they went there for a job. And he did this to them. We can't sit here and act like this is just, a small amount, compared to another serial killer. No, this is 26 of them. That's such a big number. A lot of times, male victims are overlooked. And I'm not trying to be mean here, but it's true. A lot of times, female victims catch more attention and media light. Now, John Wayne Gacy's case, of course, he did get a lot of media coverage, but the victims did not. It is oftentimes that male victims will not get as much media coverage. And I'm so glad today in 2021 to see 45 years later, these victims, getting the attention that their cases deserve. Over a week's time, investigators uncovered 26 of them. Convicted and sentenced to death, Gacy died by lethal injection in 1994. How was this Gacy victim identified? In 2019, Cook County Sheriff's Office started working with the nonprofit DNA Doe Project to identify Gacy Victim 5 using genetic genealogy. And again, guys, you can donate your DNA. Go on Google and look this up. DNA Doe Project. The skeletal remains were described as coming from a 5'9" male with brown hair, wearing a light-colored shirt, dark pants, a sock, and a leather belt. A molar from those remains went to Astria Forensics in California, where investigators hoped to extract DNA. The nonprofit project reported the DNA sample then went to Hudson Alpha Discovery in Alabama for genome sequencing. DNA Doe Project said once the sample was interpreted and uploaded to an online matching file, Alexander's relatives in the second cousin range could be found. From there, the nonprofit said volunteer genealogists could build a family tree. DART's office estimated Alexander died between early 1976 and early 1977. As investigators searched for records to confirm the match, they discovered evidence of Alex earning a small income and getting a traffic ticket in January of 1976. Sheriff's police found there is no other proof of life for Alexander after this time. DART said in a news release, Alexander lived in an area that was frequented by Gacy and where other identified victims had previously lived. Through the sheriff's office, Alexander's family offered thanks and asked for privacy, and we totally understand that, guys. We can now lay to rest what happened and move forward by honoring Wayne, Sanders said in her statement. Thank you, a mother who now has closure, sisters who now have closure, brothers who now have closure. Rest in peace, Francis Wayne Alexander. We're just so sad for this family's loss. And for this victim, what he went through and what the other victims went through. He was only 20 to 22 years old. Very, very sad. I'm so happy that he was identified. I'm so happy that the family gets closure. It's not like it's not a great thing to lose. This whole situation, no, it's not a great thing. But it is a good thing to have closure. It helps the family to heal and move on. It helps them, at least they know what happened to him. Maybe they can get his remains. They can have a service, if not already. They don't have to wonder, hey, is he still out there somewhere? Or is he suffering? I'm sorry for all the ads that are popping up. Guys, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. I want to tell you this. I'm going to strive harder to do better by my audience, for myself, and for all the victims. We're going to start doing more true crime. That's initially what I started this account for, and I catch a lot of hate because I always I don't take sides when it comes to like SA allegations and things like that. And when I do, support the alleged victims, like in the Marilyn Manson case, I catch a lot of hate, and it really makes me feel sad. But I've learned not to let hate or trolls or the bullying, get to me. I just have to be strong and stand up and realize, hey, just keep pushing, and maybe more evidence will come out. And not to get on a long rant about Marilyn Manson case, but that's mainly where I get a lot of hate from. And I'm teaching myself to take the good with the bad, because when you get on the internet and you put yourself out there, it comes with the territory to get hate. Sadly, it does. And I just can't let it depress me like it has in the past. I own a rescue. I take in, a lot of animals, and they make me very happy. Not to get rambling over here, but I just wanted you to know I'm sorry I haven't been uploading lately, and that's pretty much why, but I will be uploading more. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys. I know I'm not the most experienced YouTuber or TikToker, but you can depend on me to get better. I will learn and I will get better. And like I said, you can find me on TikTok and Twitter, LilyGirl1985. Thank you all for watching. Bye.